Si fillim kemi menduar që të ftojmë zotin Çakrezi, I cili është edhe drejtori ekzekutiv I Euroelektrës, I cili do na flasi pak më shumë për Euroelektrën dhe për veprimtarinë e saj në tregun fotovoltaik, dhe më pas do kalojmë në trajtimin teknik dhe do vazhdojmë edhe me prezantimin e kompanive dhe përfaqësuesve të tjerë, të cilët do na flasin më shumë për teknologjitë solare, me produktet që ata tregtojnë dhe me zhvillimet që pritet të ketë tregu fotovoltaik në të ardhmen. Faleminderit.
Përshëndetje të gjithëve. Mirë se keni ardhur sot këtu. Ndryshe nga si vjet ne donim që të jepnim pak më shumë zë këtij sektori dhe si çdo vit Euroelektra ka shkunduar që përzgjedhë dhe cilë markat më të njohura ndërkombëtare dhe duke I bërë partner të tregut, duke sjellë teknologjitë më të avancuara. Këtë vit, ndryshe nga vitet e tjera, ne kemi sjellë zyrtarisht përfaqësuesit për secilin markë. Pra, përveç asaj që ne vazhdimisht japim tregut dhe themi vazhdimisht për tregun, këtë vit kemi ftuar direkt gjithë kompanitë kryesore si SunPower, SolarEdge, ZCS, Zucchetti e Merat. Dhe kemi dhe një kompani në sistemi e cila do japi gjithë informacione teknike që është sa e thjesht po dhe problematike pjesa e strukturave fotovoltaike. Unë do ftoja Mr. Shenero Zgur from SunPower të vinte pjesë e forumit. Okay. Ricardo Filosa që të jetë pjesë e forumit për të na ndjekur nga afër. Nga ky moment do kaloj tek pjesa teknike, që do t'ja kaloj fjalën kolegut tim, zoti Dritan Kapaj, që do na flasë pak më shumë teknikisht rreth implanteve dhe strukturave. Dritan.
Përshëndetje të gjithëve, jam Dritani. Vi nga sektori, do thosha, I energjive të rinovueshme prej shumë vitesh. Për fakt të mirë, për personalisht, po besoj edhe për, do quaj gati edhe për pjesën e brezit tonë, sektori I energjive të rinovueshme është një sektor që është I ri në nivel global. Vetëm si teknologji e zbuluar që në vitet e 10 e tjera efekti fotovoltaik, efekti që bënte në kablat e transmetimit të linjave telefonike, ndryshimin në rezervdjellit e tjera. Dhe vetëm pas viteve 2000 konkretisht u zhvillua në mas industriale prodhimi I panelave fotovoltaik. Kuptohet fillimisht janë testuar në gjitha hapësirat panje, për pjesën e anijeve kozmike për ngarkimin e baterive me anë të energjisë diellore në hapësirë, sepse nuk ka fonte të tjera energjie, pasi u konsolidua si teknologji, flasim rreth viteve 2002, 2004 dhe në 2006 që realisht ka filluar prodhimi në masë I panelave fotovoltaik. Flasim në këto vite sepse fal një traktati I Kyotos 20-20-20 që quhet ose që u nënshkrua nga gjithë antarët e Komunitetit Evropian që deri në 2020 çdo shtet antar I Komunitetit Evropian të arrinte të kishte të paktën 20% të prodhimit të energjisë së brendshme nga energji të rinovueshme, kjo brenda vitit 2020 dhe të ulte me 20% emisionin e dioksidit e karbonit në atmosferë, që e dim që duhet vite të tëra që është konvertuar në fosil, kurse neve vetëm me zhvillimin industrial të 100 viteve të fundit po nxjerrim atë miliarda vjet punë të natyrës, neve po nxjerrim në atmosferë me anë të dizelit apo gazit e tjera po nxjerrim në formë dioksidi I karbonit, I cili ka krijuar edhe gjithë problemet atmosferike, ngrohjes globale etj. Edhe po thosha është fati mirë që jemi prezent në këtë fazë, sepse është një sektor që po përjeton një zhvillim shumë të shpejt, si për përhapjen vetëm në shumë pak vite, pavarësisht lobimeve të ndryshme nga sektor të ndryshme, Por pjesa e bukur është që më në fund po sensibilizohemi dhe është një teknologji po arrin zhvillimin në një masë kaq praktike dhe kaq të thjeshtë është i prekshëm nga të gjithë neve. Qoftë Tesla ka qenë një nga prodhuesit e parë të makinave elektrike në vitet 90 që ka ekzistuar në treg, lobime të ndryshme në Shtetet e Bashkuara në ato vite arritën ta shkatronin sepse duhet të merrte zhvillim ekonomia e naftës e petrolit e tjera. Më në fund, pas viteve 2000, arritën që sot realisht energjia e rinovueshme, jo ndotëse, e tjera të prekshme nga të gjithë neve. Pjesa e normativave, më lejoni të ndajmë edhe këtë pjesë të bëjmë një përmbledhje. Pjesa e normativave apo e vështirësisë që po përjetojmë realisht në Shqipëri apo në gjithë Ballkanin, sepse operojmë në pjesën e Malezisë, Maqedoni, Kosovë e tjera, janë faza që janë kaluar edhe në shtetet evropiane. Edhe në Itali ka qenë shumë i fortë presioni politik, jo politik, të jepeshin, mos të jepeshin subvencione nga ana e shtetit për instalimin, kishte nevojë, nuk kishte nevojë tregu, dhe tregoi që tregu kishte nevojë për ndihmë nga shtetit, jo sepse nuk është mjaftueshme energjia e tjera, por sepse tregu ka nevojë për të hequr gjithë të frikë që na është krijuar, frikë sot gjoj intervista OSHE-s, kjo një konflikt të mos, nuk e di si do të quajë, mos bindje nga ana e OSHE-s apo kokëfortësi për pjesën e investimeve për ta bërë rrjetet smart, sikur edhe dal nga dal për tregun tonë në Shqipëri që jemi një treg prej 3 milion banorësh, nuk duhen këto investime maramanse. Megjithatë, për të kaluar te pjesa herë të vonë
efficiency on self-technologies, and we continue to actually invest a significant amount of money on research and development. And then once we have the cells, and then we have the panel manufacturing facilities around the world, and then we do power plant products, including trackers and cleaning robots and the structure itself as well. So, and then we do project development, and we develop our own projects, we invest on our own money, and then we also finance the projects. It could be the bridge finance or construction financing, and then we provide turnkey EPC solutions to the end users if it's required. And then at the end we can provide the O&M services around the world. So this means we call it closed loop. That actually helped us a lot, so we can see the problems for the entire process, and we can actually revise or fine-tune our products or the business strategy. So that's how we get to become one of the highest quality panel manufacturers around the world. And when you go anywhere around the world, they will recognize SunPower, and it's very important for large-scale projects because the investors or the banks are actually looking for bankable projects, bankable products. So that's very important to secure your financing cheaper than no-name brands using or no experienced installers if they come to the banks, and then they might not get the favorable interest rates or terms for their financing. So it's very important to work with the quality and products with a good track record. So I just want to give you a very brief information about how we see the world happening in the solar sector. You can see that the current generation mix, and for future, we're still pretty much around the world powered by coal, gas, and oil, and a little bit of nuclear still exists up to date. And you can actually see to the left of the line, which is about 2019 line, solar and wind, and other than some hydro and slightly small amount of wind, there is no solar. I mean, we talk about it's been established, it's here, but when you look at actual numbers, we're still not powering enough with our renewable resources around the world. So it's when you look at the chart later on, we think it's a threshold around like 2018, 2019. Starting from then, we're going to start seeing solar, wind, and other renewables actually covering almost 65% of the total generation mix by 2050. So we're not late yet, but we're not even started. So you could you know, countries like Albania has never used solar before, and even if you see solar panels around the world, it doesn't mean anything right now. So we're starting, and now we're going to start seeing less and less coal, gas, and nuclear, most of their nuclear power. So what terawatt hours a year, and then you can see that here's your solar. It's not even existing actually. When you look at 50, we have about 28.7 terawatt hours production. It's going to happen in 2050, and then look at the improved share of the solar, and we have to keep promoting solar. One is that the basic terms, you produce electricity where you consume it. So what we see, this chart shows you the increased fraction of total electricity. We call this penetration rates, right? So when you look at it, obviously the Germany is #1 in the world in terms of the penetration to the market right now. 15% almost of the Germany's solar, the generation mix is actually powered by solar. You know, and they designed it, they wanted to become this way, and then they're going to continue improving on it. You can't see it in here, but Italy is also another country because of the colors. Italy is also following kind of like the German trend. They're still improving in their sector. They continue on investing in solar. But look at the new markets. You know, when you see the bottom, the penetration rate is very low, but see the trend going up for Australia, Brazil, like I said, in Japan, and the countries that we never think that the solar would be available, and then you see that those guys are investing heavily. And look at the U.S. I mean, we think that U.S. is using a lot of solar. Look at this. They're not even here. It's like 0.5% or something for their national mix. So, but we'll see more and more penetration on the DG side, means on your roofs, on commercial or residential. So this is very important. So Albania, to our knowledge, it's going to be the best candidate to get into this chart at some point. It's not going to be a huge market, but in terms of the Albanian sizes, it's going to be a very interesting market in terms of the rooftop applications. So we have to keep continuing on our discussions with the ministry level and then the distribution level. So we're already present in US, Germany, Italy, Japan, China. We have DG channels operating, and then now we're in Albania thanks to Electra, our distributor. So in terms of the investments, you'll see what these numbers on the previous charts means, that the wind is going to get $4.6 billion in today's dollars between 2018 and 2050. So you see that the coal or the gas is not going to be as big as it used to be. So we're seeing solar is going to be even higher. It's like almost $3 trillion investment over until 2050. So we're like I said, we're just starting. And then when you look at the PV installed capacity, these are the markets you'll see huge increase in their added capacity. So it's like the Middle East, Europe, and Asia countries. This is where the Albania is going to be. So just a little bit of our technology. Just want to tell you that when you pick a panel, it's very important to watch out for two main items. It's the micro cracks is what we call it, and the corrosion on the panels. A lot of the panels fail. About 90% almost, 85, 86% of the reason why the panels fail is because of these two reasons, and also the junction box and the cablings and etc. Depending on the quality of the product you use. So so when you pick the panel, don't just look at the data sheets. You have to look at the performance and then the real-time, real-world data as well. You need to ask a lot of questions to people, whether that's a good product or not. You have to do a lot of research. For us, like I said, I mean, we always try to be the highest efficiency panel around the world. Everybody claims the same. What we're not only, stressing about, I think you can't see the numbers, like the 20.4% efficiency on the panel level, not on the cell level. Cell level, we're over 25% right now. So, and then we have the highest production through our technology, 67% that efficiency is translated. and we're probably the lowest degradation panel producer around the world. This is 0.25. So when you look at our cell manufacturing, this is our standard cell, and this is a very traditional Chinese, Taiwanese, or any other brands. This is some version of this is being used currently in the market. This is totally different. It's called IBC, interdigitated back contact cells, which means these copper lines, actually, we call them copper ribbons, and then the connection points is actually the entire back of the cell is covered with, pasted with the copper. So you don't see anything on the surface of our panels. You can see that on the panel over here too, but this is a slightly different technology. I'll talk about it in a second. What this gives us is a very robust cell. So it's hard to break. In fact, you cannot even break this cell. Even if you break, it's continue to produce electricity. It loses a little bit, obviously. It's production, but still, because of this copper pasted in the back of the cell entirely, you use almost the entire cell area without any losses because of these copper lines. Okay, and then we have three different cell-to-cell connection bars. So it's very durable, and that's why this product is very expensive. It's one of the most expensive panels in the world. So what happens is, if you very important is there is a copper on the surface of the cell. We talked about corrosion and microcracks, right? So what happens is when silicon is not expanding material, right? So, but the copper expands and shrinks when there is heat. So you do this hundreds of times during the day, during the year. Then you have this expansion and shrinking. So put so much stress around the copper, the silicon around the copper, because silicon doesn't want to expand. So you won't see it on the bare eye, but after a certain time, you're going to start seeing micro cracks around the copper. So this micro crack could travel all the way up here, until it hits something else and stops, or to the end of the cell. So when you have micro cracks, then the electrons don't move, right? And if you have even nanometer crack in between the cell to cell, then electrons are never going to be able to move. So you're going to be losing the entire cell. So the second part is that once you have the humidity, and then if you're not using the right material, correct encapsulant, then on your cells, then you're going to start seeing corrosion around the copper. So the corrosion gets bigger and bigger time if it's not the right panel, or if it's not. If we try to go with the cheaper panels, they usually see that problem, and then the copper gets oxidated, and then the corrosion is going to be preventing you to use the entire efficiency of the cell. So there's two important things I would encourage everybody to be considering when you're picking up your panels. It's the micro cracks, and then the corrosion is the main ingredients. Okay, and we eliminate using back contact cells. So that's an expensive product, like I said. So to be able to survive and to be able to give people alternative product, we came up with this P series, which is what you see on the wall over there. It's we call them tiled cell. It's technology. It's shingle cell structure, panel structure, or cell structure is what we call it. What we do, again, this is a standard cell. What we do, we have slightly oversized cells. It's 156 millimeter by 156. So what we do is we cut these cells in 6 pieces. Okay, so we call them subcells, small cells, you can call them. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to eliminate these copper bus bars, right? I mean, we like I said, I mean, we don't want to use this technology, but we want to still bring the high efficiency panels to the market with the comparable pricing, right, against the competition. So we cut these in 6 pieces, and then We combine these pieces later on. We glue them, let's say, glue them together with adhesive is used in the space shuttles and aerospace engineering, and then the satellites. So that glue is actually doing the job of these coppers. So you don't see any coppers on the face of the cells, and then you eliminate micro cracks and you eliminate corrosion entirely. So it's kind of our solution to this back contact cell technology. So we had to reduce the cost, but also we didn't want to sacrifice the efficiency. So we came up with this. There's multiple benefits of using this, which I'm going to be explaining over here, the cells, and we're still at over 19% efficiency level on these cells. So what we do, like I said, we cut them in 6 pieces, and then what we do here, so what we're doing here is those panels, when you get closer, and then after the presentation, maybe you can come by to our booth, then we glue them together, and we call this entire length of the panel, there is one cell. So it's like, we call them hypercell. So it's the entire panel, it's about 2 meters long. We have this cell, it's like a single cell, acts like a single cell. So, and then this gives us multiple advantages, okay? So one of them is that, like I said, we eliminated corrosion, we eliminated the micro cracks, and then because these are smaller, even if you have cracks, that's not going to travel much, and then you have the entire strip of cells in one line. So what this gives us, we have, first of all, we have parallel connection, or the discharge on our panels, which means on the standard panels, you're going to have serial connections. It's like, the electrons are going to move up and then come down in here, and then it's going to be discharged. So every 2 line, you're going to have serial connection. For our panels, there's like 6 lines, and all of these lines have individually discharged. So we have 6 discharge points out of this panel, right? What this tells you, when you put this in landscape, so turn it around and then put it in landscape, even if you have shading at the bottom of the panel, you're always going to have shading early in the morning or late at night. So when you lose this strip, your 5 other strip, these are the lines, they're all going to continue on operating. So you're not going to be losing this second line because you're not serially connected. So you use 90% of the panel capacity, and even if you are shaded almost like 10-12 centimeters from the bottom. The second important thing on this one is that this is an oversized panel, 1 meter by 2 meters. And this panel is producing 395 watts right now. It's one of the biggest ones. And next year, beginning of January, we're going to be introducing 400 watt panels. So the other thing is, when you look at the panel, we don't have the bypass diodes on the side, but we have it in the middle of the panel. That cost us some money, but we have 3 points, 3 bypass diodes. What the bypass diode is doing is, if you have shading in a part of the panel, it actually gets activated, and in the electrons, that part is isolated, but the electrons find a way to flow through these lines so that you don't lose the entire panel because you're not serially connected. So the bypass diode in the middle, so you only lose this part, and then the rest of the panel continue operating. So what we do is, like I said, 6 strips, and then 3 bypass diodes. It's kind of like, you can think of, we split the panel into 18 different pockets. So if you have shaded in here, then you're saved by the bypass diode. You don't lose the entire panel. So this does not show up on the data sheets. So we have to explain to clients how this thing works. One of the other very important things in this panel is, like we said, every cell is operating at almost 0.5 volt, a little bit higher maybe, every cell, individual cells. So what we do when we cut them in 6 pieces, so we're reducing that to 0.5 divided by 6. So when you look at the standard panels, they're going to usually operate at 50, 52, 53 volt level, right? So, but when we introduce this technology, and we're parallel connected, so, and there's about 480 of these little strips, subcells, on this entire panel. So, but when you add it all up, all these cells, in each line, we will have 50 volts for the, you know, give or take 50, 51, 52 volts on each line. So, in comparison to the competition, it is the entire panel is 50 volts. If you have shading and lost voltage on the panel, on the lines, then your voltage on the entire panel is going to be reduced. For this one, every strip is operating at 50 volts, right? So if you have shading in here, 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 even if you have one line left, your panel still is going to be operating at 50 volts. This is important because, especially for the inverter manufacturers, they always want their inverter to be operated at the highest efficiency level. So we're actually giving some added benefit even on the inverter side by introducing this unique technology. This is SunPower's own IP, and if anybody wants to copy this, then they're going to start hearing about it from our lawyers. So no one has this. So that's one of the benefits. The other benefit on this panel is, like I said, it's oversized panel, and if you are constrained, especially for the rooftops, you don't have enough space, right? You only have so much space on your roof, so you want the most out of your roof space, right? So this panel, like I said, it's going to be about 400 watts. So, but you're still using the same structure to mount them on the roof, which means for the constrained space, you can actually put more wattage, more capacity on the same space because this is high-rated panel. And then you save money on, instead of installing maybe 20, 25, or 30 panels, you're going to be installing maybe 12 or 13 of these to get the same capacity. So you save on the structure, you save on the cables, you save on all the other materials of the system while using the same mountain structure type. This is slightly heavier than the standard panels. This is about 23 kilograms. The standard panels usually run around like 18 kilograms. So that's the added benefit on the rooftops. Also on the utility level. Utility level, if you have a 2 megawatt power plant, those structural costs adds up a lot, actually. So that's why this is, we call them balance of system. Other than the panel, there's other materials you use. Time talked about it. So you save money on every other material just by using the panel. So we're very proud of this panel, and then we started selling this year, beginning of this year, and it's actually a superstar, and we're going to start selling it in Europe as well, beginning of this year. So, like I said, I mean, it's a tile, and then this is how we, this is how we combine each cell. It's a shingle. It's like a roof shingle structure. You kind of glue them all together, and then you, end result, you get these strips. And the panel itself, it doesn't show any white lines. So, so this one kind of gives you, okay, what's your efficiency level on a standard panel, and then what is this new panel is going to give you? It's like you usually, you know, currently there's 330s, 340s started showing up in the marketplace. But then our difference on the P series is at least 7% higher efficiency you're getting. Because of the large format, you're getting actually plus 6% due to the larger format on the generation, so you end up with 350. Our panels are running, this is our previous P series, 350. Right now we're at, that was our poly module, we're at 400 watt right now, and 19% efficiency. And this is what what the panel construction structure looks like, right? So we started off with E series and P series. One of the most important things for us is that our products come with 25 years product and production warranty, which is the performance warranty. Every panel manufacturer gives 25 years performance warranty. these days. No problem with that. But the maximum warranty you're going to get from the market is actually 10 to 12 years for their products. After 12 years, if anything happens, if anything happens on the frame, on the glass, or encapsulant starts giving up, then you start getting moisture into the cells, then after 12 years, you're out of luck. You don't have any warranty claims. You can't do the warranty claims after the product. It doesn't matter what the performance warranty means. So, the highest price panels. Other than the cells on E-Series, everything else on the P-Series is actually using exactly the same materials, same quality materials as on the E-Series. So you're getting a E-Series product with the different cells and almost equal efficiency level with the cheaper price. So these are some of the tests. Every panel manufacturer provides this, and every panel is actually tested around these lines. Okay, I have 3 of these charts. I'll show you. This is like a ribbon failure I talked about, but then this is tested for 200 cycles, and then everybody's pretty much at the same level when you look at it, right? But we test our products continuously until it fails, right? So this is our own test, so that we need to make sure that 25 years warranty we can cover, so we don't go bankrupt if we can't solve this. Because so when you keep increasing on the cycles, then you start seeing failures, right? These are different brands of products, so I'm not going to name any. But then when you look at it, this is our P-Series and this is our E-Series product. So you can see that the P-Series even holding up sometimes better. Right, so the cycles. This is the thermal cycle, is what we call it. You put panel on a extreme stress, and then you wait to fail. The other one is actually the humidity. What we do, again, this is the standard test condition, right? With the humidity, you kind of put it on a damp heat at 85 degrees Celsius or 185 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you wait the panel to fail. And then this. And then when you look at it, our rating, E-Series, we talk about 82.7, 83%. If it goes below 83%, then we're going to replace the panel. So the next one is actually something that we passed. I'm not sure if any other panel passed it since this study. It's desert conditions. We actually asked 2. We do a lot of work in the Middle East in desert conditions. We actually passed the test, and what they do, they throw sand on the panel until they see a failure. So that's been certified by third party too. You probably heard of the company. So that's the other thing that makes us a little bit more different than the other ones, but also a little bit more expensive. And this is PID. It's kind of like, you look at the numbers, and then we call it potential induced degradation. So you kind of keep cycling the panel with the voltage, and then you see what happens to the power, and then we're pretty much we passed it. The test with 0.2% power loss, and the 50% of the other the brands actually failed, and then the remaining 50% would pass with 4 or 5% power loss. These are the things. These are the tests. Actually, you might want to go investigate a little bit further rather than just looking at the data sheet and then the price list. So, and then what we do, we have a 1 megawatt power plant in Arizona. And then we continue to test our own products with different brands, not only SunPower, but also Trina's, Jinko's, Jaws, every other brand. We have this, and then we have some test results, but I didn't want to put the names in here. We continue to bypass at least by 5% higher production on any major brand you can find. So this is based on the actual field data. And then, obviously, we talked about the shading. This is what I was talking about in the morning. You will see some shading, and then we have third-party consultants actually looking at the structure of the panel, and then they indicate that our E-Series has a useful life of 40 years, And then the P series, since it's a relatively new product, they estimated 35 years of useful life because they didn't have enough field data to correlate. So, and then you can look at the shading performance of some of the other brands. It's just SunPower performing everybody else in the market. So this is what I was talking about in terms of the shading. So, like I said, two different products, P17 and P19. We're actually offering P19 to all our clients in Albania right now because of the watt ratings and also the performance. And then E20, sometimes it's a mono panel. This is a monoper panel. And then where the highest rating is 425. And then, so you get to choose which product you want to use. Some people would like to get E-series, higher efficiency, it looks better on the roof. Some people are conscious about that. If you come by to our booth afterwards, you'll see there's like all black panel. And even though it's slightly lower efficiency and with higher price, people would like to get it. And the reason is mainly it just looks good on my roof is what their reasoning. So no other reason. So the product warranty, I talked about it. I don't know if you guys can see it. Our standard warranty extends up to 25. We call it combined warranty. And then the conventional warranty, it's 10 years to 12 years. So you will hardly find anybody for the product warranty I'm talking about. And the power warranty is something else. If anything happens to your panel, and we'll replace it. And with our distributors in Euroelectra in Albania, they always have stocks in place. So if something happens to your panel, they don't have to wait for me to send them from Mexico or another factory. So they just replace your panel, and then they claim the warranty on the panel. So we send them with their next shipment. So, and then this is very important for us. It's R&D spending, and between 2007 and 16. We spent the most money on the cell and the panel technologies, about $550 million within like 9 years. We spent almost $60 million, over $60 million every year we spend on R&D. It's the highest on any brand. This is by the way from the third party analysis. So we're highest on the market who spends money on the technology, keep improving the technology. So in terms of the Albania, I mean, there was a session yesterday. It was interesting to listen on the government side and then the distribution side. I've been around almost all countries. Like Ricardo is experienced in Italy. These guys have experience in Italy. I mean, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. I mean, it's already there. This technology, although it's not deployed a lot, it's there. If you have a problem, there's a solution to it. So it's just you need to have the mindset. You can't solve all the problems, definitely. And even if you wait for 5 years, you think you solve all the problems, you're gonna encounter something else because things are changing so much. So I mean, you have to start from somewhere, and then you keep adjusting and fine tuning your system. But if you wait, then Albania is the perfect country for solar deployment because you don't have any fossil. So, and you have hydro. You have enough base load, in fact, to deploy solar. Obviously, you can't do 100% solar in countries like Albania. Nowhere in the world. I mean, but you need to start. Otherwise, you're going to be losing a lot of time. So, and the other thing is, if you stop, you think that you're going to be saving money or saving your investment for now, but 5 years later, you're going to have to spend more money to be able to deploy solar, or you have to buy power from outside, or do something else when you get to a point that you don't have enough power in the system. So I always say, okay, you got to keep focused, just learn from other people's mistakes, talk the industry, and then other system operators around Europe. I mean, Italy is a perfect and very good relations with Albania. It's not hard to overcome these hurdles that they were talking about yesterday. And then it's very important. We need to take advantage. I mean, it's like these technologies used to be like 3 times more expensive 5-6 years ago. Now, all these countries like Italy, they support it with their taxpayer money, subsidizing these technologies. In Germany, UK, France, they subsidize these technologies, so it became huge capacities. The volumes increased, the cost decreased. So it's very cheap right now to deploy these technologies. Just keep it going and then take advantage. Don't wait too long. It's what we say, and then you just stay committed, and then we have to act. And then this net metering is a very interesting concept to me. I mean, how much you get paid, I don't think it matters. It's like, even if you don't get any, I mean, there was a discussion yesterday, should we pay 6 lakh or 9 lakh or 12 lakh? It's like, even if you don't pay any lakh, if you deploy and if you have the net metering, so then that was actually indirect subsidy to people who wants to use it. So make it attractive. Otherwise, you're going to keep increasing your, rates, and then people are going to be punished by that, especially the commercial sector. I mean, the electric is very important for the industry. So thank you for listening, and we'll be at the booth on Eurolectra. If you guys want to discuss a little bit more, I can show you different panel types, and we can discuss more detail on the technical sides. But yeah, we're very happy to be here, and as SunPower, and thanks to our partnership with Eurolectra, they actually is helping us to increase our footprint in not only in Albania, Kosovo, Macedonia, and Montenegro, and we start seeing the improvements in those markets as well. Although they're small, but Albania is going to be a very interesting solar market over the next 3-4 years at least. So anybody interested in getting into this field, you should feel very comfortable that it's going to be a very good career choice for the younger guys as well. So thanks for listening.
Kjo është një nga arsyet pse kemi zgjedhur për sa i përket pjesës SunPower, sepse janë gjithë ato detaje teknike që në pjesën e tregut dhe në një nivel shumë të lartë teknik diferencojnë prodhues të ndryshëm dhe marka të ndryshëm, pa i ulur as pak vlerën gjithë teknologjive të tjera. Janë ato diferencat që sot bëjnë diferencën midis prodhuesve të ndryshme për sa i përket pjesës panelave dhe përsëris distribucionit lokal që ka Euroelektra dhe asistencës lokale që japim përveç pjesës këtu në Panajir, po edhe tek selia jone e Euroelektrës, për çfarëdo lloj konsultimi teknik apo sidomos pjesës teknike për çfarëdo lloj gjëje që mund të ndodhi për shumë arsye, për ta sqaruar dhe pse jo për ta zëvendësuar panelin e inverterin etj. Do ftoja Ricardo Filozën, që është Zuketi Centro Sistemi, që është për sa i përket pjesës inverterave. Pas Ricardos, nuk e di pjesën e breakut apo jo, janë disa teknologji tjera që futen përsëri te pjesa e inverterave, dhe këto janë dhe komponentët kryesor. Komponenti kryesor të implantit është paneli invertrat, dy lloj invertrat, dhe pastaj është pjesa e strukturës. Kjo është thjeshtësia dhe fjala Ricardos.
Grazie. Thanks a lot, Vitan. I want to start my presentation with a special thanks to Elton, Andy, and the whole Ritan, of course, and the whole Eurolectra team for their kindness, for their professionalism, and for their invitation, of course, so to give me and my company the chance to speak to you and to start promoting our products in the Albanian market. I will spend a few words later on about the Albanian market, because I think it's in full agreement with what Sener said before, and I think this market is going to be very, very special, profitable for all of us. Well, who we are, okay, our company name is ZCS. ZCS stands for Zucchetti Centro Sistemi. We are an Italian company founded the same as SunPower in 1985, so we are, twins, so to say, in terms of age at least, even though we do different things. We are an Italian company, and we have started as a software company. We are the biggest software company in Italy and amongst the biggest 3 European company, European-based company, of course. We have different divisions, the pure software division, healthcare division, automation industrial division, robotics division, and green division, which is the one we are talking about today, and we take care of renewable energy market through this division. Okay, I will skip this. I will just say that we go in the market with different brands for every division. The brand name of the renewable energy product is Azzurro, and all of us, all these brands are under the umbrella of ZCS, as I said before, Zucchetti brand. A few numbers about us. This is the global footprint of Zucchetti. We employ 3,500 people. We have over 1,000 partners worldwide. Over 1,000 people in R&D and annual turnover ranging around 500 million euro these days, and in the specific of renewable energy. Dritan before explained to all of us that the PV plant is made by different bricks, so to say. We have the PV panels, and we have had a wonderful explanation from San Power about the PV panel technology. We have the mounting structure, and we will listen later on about that. We have PV inverter, which is another brick of the PV plant. The PV inverter is responsible of the interface to the grid. In other words, the PV panel produces the energy, so converts the solar energy into electricity, but this electricity is not yet usable for our daily needs. So to make it usable for our daily needs, we need a conversion device, which is the PV inverter, which takes the electricity, the electrical energy from the PV panel and translates this energy into usable energy for all our homes and industries. In doing that, the PV inverter tries also to harvest the maximum possible energy from the power plant. So each inverter performs what is named MPPT, maximum power point tracking. It means that tries to position its working point into the best possible point and to harvest the maximum energy from our PV installation. Moreover, the inverter is responsible to the interface with the grid, so it manages the grid safety. This is something we have been talking about yesterday with O'Shea, with the distribution company here in Albania, to make sure that they understand that the inverter is intelligent, is a machine which is able to preserve the grid and the safety of the grid. In other words, in case of grid instability, in case of problems for the grid, the inverter will disconnect the panel and the PV plant, preserving the safety and the good performance of the grid itself. Our product range is very wide. So in terms of product, we deliver inverters from between 1 to 70 kilowatt. We are able to offer over 70 models of inverters for all needs. So for the small plant, you have not enough space in your roof, and so you can assemble just 3 or 4 panels, and then you can go with a 1 kilowatt inverter, or you have a large PV plant, a 500 kilowatt PV plant, a 1 megawatt PV plant, and then you can operate them just putting in parallel certain number of large-scale inverters. Our inverters are only string inverters. I don't know if all of you know the difference between a string inverter and a central inverter, but we have to say that a central inverter is a large inverter, probably as big as this podium, which converts up to 2 or 3 megawatts all in that machine. So you have your PV plant, that's a centralized solution. From your PV plant, from your panels, you bring all the cables to this central conversion machine, and this performs the conversion itself. The advantage of this solution is certain cost benefit in terms of balance of system. In other words, the cost per watt of the inverter itself is lower. But the advantage, the disadvantage is in the centralized solution. I need to explain to you before what a string inverter is. A string inverter is an inverter managing a lower amount of power, around 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 kilowatts. And these inverters are commonly placed in the PV plant. So there is not a centralized place where you have the whole conversion, but you can, if you think to a PV plant with different panels, with a certain amount of panels, you have inverters spread here and there in the PV plant. The advantage of this solution is that you distribute your conversion. You have a lower amount of cable or of DC cable going around, but most important is the fact that this kind of solution is less sensible to the failure. In other words, if the central inverter fails, your whole PV plant will be down. If your string inverter fails, just a small portion of the PV plant will be down, and so you will lose just a small percentage of production. It's more or less the same concept that we heard before about some power modules versus conventional modules. Just short overview of our product portfolio. These are all product families. From, as I said, the small one from 1 to 3 kilowatt, 3 to 6 kilowatt, and then same 3 to 6 kilowatt light version, and then 4 to 12, 10 to 20, 30 to 40, 50 to 70, and storage. These first 3 families are single phase families, so up to 6 kilowatt we operate single phase, whether we start from 4 kilowatt having 3-phase models, so between 4 up to 70 kilowatt we have 3-phase models. The small inverters are single MPPT, the larger ones, so starting from 3 kilowatt we have double MPPT, and for 50 to 70 kilowatt we have 3 MPPTs. What does it mean? It's easy to understand. Imagine that you have your home roof, and your home roof it's done like a normal roof. You have east and west orientation, okay, for your roof. You understand that when in the morning the sun rises on the east, you have good solar radiation on the panels which are east oriented. You don't have the same solar radiation on the other ones. And in the evening, you have the opposite. You have good solar radiation on the west side and bad solar radiation on the east one. And you understand that a PV module have different behavior depending on the radiation, the solar radiation of the PV module itself. So the double MPPT allows you to operate something like that, different orientation of your module without having losses of power, losses of energy. For large 3-phase inverters, we have 3 MPPTs in order to better manage partial shadowing that can occur when you have a normal ground-mounted PV plant. We also offer a range of products for storage, so storage solution, both retrofit and hybrid inverters. In this case, we need to have a bench of batteries to operate our system, and these kind of products can work both grid connected or off grid as pure off grid system. So if you have a remote site or a home in the country land and you don't have any grid power, you don't have the mains down there, you can use one of our hybrid solution between 3 and 6 kilowatt to supply your lights or your home appliances in this remote site. We only use in our systems, or better to say, despite our system are compatible with every kind of battery, we strongly recommend to go just with lithium batteries, which can ensure durability and reliability in the time. In other words, they cost more or less the double with respect to lead-acid batteries, maybe something more than that, but they can, they last for 10 to 12 years. They ensure a number of cycles which can range between 6 and 12,000 cycles depending on the usage, and they can deliver constant power, so they are something totally different from the rest. So this is an investment, and we strongly recommend to go with lithium batteries. We give assistance and post-sale service only in case our storage systems are operated with lithium batteries. Moreover, the lithium batteries have an intelligence inside that can speak to the inverter and make sure that you always operate the battery in the best possible way. So you preserve their lifetime and you optimize their performance. Some, selling points, some advantages of our products. All our products are IP65 protected. It means that you can put them, under the sky. They can be used outdoor, under the rain, and this is protection degrees. These number, the 6 and the 5, show the protection degree of the system against water leakage and dust penetration. Easy to install, very quick installation. All our single-phase and small three-phase products can be installed almost without the need of a screwdriver. In other words, we have all fast plug connections, and whatever you need to do, all you need to do is to hang the unit on the wall and just connect the wires, and that's all. Robustness it's another feature of the products. We go through very selective quality processes in our production process. We follow Six Sigma quality process and many other similar, standard processes. All our products, before being shipped out from our factories, go through a 6-hour burn-in, meaning that after we have produced them, we put them in a climate chamber at 40 degrees, and we leave them work for 6 hours in order to make sure that whatever leave our production facility is fully tested and operating. We have graphic display on all our machines, which help installers in understanding and having, first understanding of the installation itself. In this display, you can read, the string voltage, the string current. So if you have missed a connection on your roof, you easily understand it from here, so you can make a first diagnosis of the installation itself. One last thing, which is very important, is the pre-expo sales assistance. I want to emphasize this aspect because this makes truly the difference in all markets. You know, the presence of a company, the availability and the quickness to respond in case of problem, it's paramount. It makes the difference. And you know, we are building a good, an excellent relationship with Euroelectra in order to ensure to all installers in Albania our full support. We also offer monitoring systems and tools to the installers. String sizer tool, which is, you know, a very easy, user-friendly device to configure your PV plant. So you select a panel, the panel that you are going to use in your PV plant. You select the inverter that you want to use. You select your geographic location, and then the string sizer helps you to have the best possible configuration for your PV plant. And then we have monitoring systems through app or through portal, so that you know, whoever install our products can keep the PV plant monitored, either on his mobile phone or in his PC. We can produce reports, daily reports, weekly reports, monthly reports about the production of the inverter, about you know, all the different performances of the inverter itself, and we can also launch or send alerts by email to the installer in case we detect some problem in the PV plant. So in case you have problems, you are alerted, or your installer is alerted on his email, and he can come and you know, correct the issue real time. Okay. Just to conclude, I want to a little bit go again on the local situation and on the local market. I want to give you a couple of interesting numbers. We have seen a lot from Sener before. I want to add one more. Last year, in 2017, in the world, almost between 80 and 90 gigawatts of PV systems have been installed. So if you make a calculation, this is what the energy produced by the PV systems installed only last year in the world are sufficient to supply the whole need of energy of Albania for the next 20 years. This is to say that the renewable energy one, it's an energetic revolution which is just started. We saw it before in one of the slides that we have seen from SunPower. We have seen that, you know, the energy, renewable energy contribution in the worldwide use of energy is peanuts. It's almost nothing right now, but it's going to increase. This is a revolution which has started now and which is not going to stop. I'm pretty sure that for us, for our sons, for our grandsons, there will be enough market to work. And so I think that the best thing to do is to keep on pushing on you know, the decision makers here in the market, on the government, on the ministry, on the distribution companies, in order to make sure that you don't miss the opportunity. We are all on the, we just jumped on the right boat, on the right train, and this train is not going to stop for the next 30 or 40 years. Thank you very much for your attention.